I play my song the whole night long. I play my song to you so that I might have a chance with you. Yeah. So I might have a chance with you. Yeah. I know too many of y'all ain't hip to the Becker brothers, baby. The Becker brothers. Musicians. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. God damn. Slight return last night, which was normally my Friday night. I fell asleep. I fell asleep like a motherfucker watching the late hockey game. And I woke up at 2:30. So here I am back. I chopped for about 20, 30, 40 minutes to make up. Do a recap of the game. I did watch almost all this game. I missed the earlier game. I don't even know who won earlier. But the money's been flowing pretty good. I'm going to say this. I made money with Jody last night. Jody put a tip out there about the Met Gala, and Jody said earlier in the day, Jody said, if I was a betting fan, I bet on the Mets, and I bet on the Mets, and I won that bet. So, drank all my beer earlier, got off work. So this is just water, but you know, the Luca is in full effect. You just go 1, 2. Lily and Top them to go 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingy, 3 ringy dingies, 4 ringy dingies, and 5 ringy dingies. It has this carburetor port in the back. The other one, I'm glad I didn't. Plus, it was they had it out open. I bought a new one. And this one had the chamber in the back, and you just get this is the highest temperature for this wax. And it hits you, and then you want to sing. You want to go, would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic slop. Would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic slop. Some old funkadelic music. So tonight the game was full of the triplet is funky. Oh shit, I can't hear myself. The triplet is kind of funky tonight. So I know a lot of the Chocolate Mountaineers is not expecting me to be on tonight, so I'm not going to go on too long tonight. Oh, the first thing I want to say this. I don't hate anyone. I do not hate gay people. As I've said many times, my son is gay and my my middle daughter. So it is not targeted to any individuals when I talk about what Hollywood has done with trans people. It has nothing to do with the people that I personally know and have relationships on here. So I don't want anyone on here to be offended ever because I'm not personally talking about you. What I am saying is that Hollywood, that entertainment presents people and goes through all their fake times as not being trans people. And that is what I attack. I attack that because we ask, present who you are. And I'll say it's a fool's, I work where I ain't seeing nothing but thousands of books a night. And it is an attack on young people. To see all these books with these rainbow colors is an obvious attack on young people. It is trying to sway your mind. And as I said with my daughter, I felt when my daughter said that what she was a popularity contest. It was a popularity contest. When she declared in school, it was pushed and it became a popularity contest. Now, of what she felt later, that's what she feels. Okay, my son, the last 3 years has been with the same partner, maybe even 4 years. So it's not like I hate them. It's not saying that. So I don't want anyone that watches this that feels affiliated to say I'm personally attacking them because I'm not. I am attacking the falsehood of people portraying to be something else. If you are who you are and that's how you portray, and please don't think that just because you're a certain way, you're tied up with the whole group. That don't mean that. You are still an individual. So please forgive me, call me up, email me. It's easy to get at me if you feel I offended you, because that was never my goal, is to offend anyone. I'm talking about people that present themselves as something else. That's what I'm talking about. So please, I don't want anyone to feel offended. I'll tell you, I want to say this. That commercial with Shaq and asking Steph if he is good at doing, trading and stuff. There's a great sell-off going today. Bitcoin was at $36,000. To me, that looked like a time to buy in. Ethereum was like what, $2,200? Now, as much as I push gold is still hovering at 1850. Now, as I said before, 1900 is gravy. Still 1850 ain't bad, because shit, I remember when gold was like $500. So it's at $1,800. You still ain't really losing. Silver took a up today, so it's a lot of sell-offs. So those of you want to buy into Verizon, Nike, it's several to buy in. Hey, B Brown, thank you for joining me. This is just a slight return, so I've changed the format a little bit. I ain't start with the high vibrations because I watched the hockey game last night. I fell asleep like a motherfucker. I was buzzed and watching the game I think I watched all 4 hockey games and the hoop games. And that game came on, and, vibe will hit you, be like, man, if you close your eyes for a few minutes, it might feel good. Hey, Dr. Sinister, thank you for joining me. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. And so I hit that vibration last night, and I woke up about 2:30. I was like, oh. I got up and started acting like I was doing the show. Hey, Jody, I'll say this again, and I know it's a delay, but I want money with the Mets. Yesterday morning, when you talked about the Mets, or the day before, whenever you talked about the Gala and the Mets, I bet on the Mets, and I want money. So thank you, Miss Jody. I don't know if you heard that earlier. I did win money with you, because I don't bet on a whole lot of baseball. When you said that, I looked up and I played a baseball parlay. I won all 3. So thank you, Samuel. That's very cool. Racist, all neighbors, it's all gravy. It is. But what I say, when I talk shit about people, it's about these imposters. That's who I'm talking shit about. I'm talking about people that is imposters. I don't say shit, the people that rock with me, we're together. And again, you can't be thin-skinned when you did what I'm saying, because again, it's not personal about anybody. My channel ain't never been about attacking and talking about other motherfuckers, I ain't really tried to be on that vibration. You can go back and watch my work. I only had one emotional thing, is when me and my brother was beefing a couple years ago, and that was like 16 on my other channel. So ain't nothing on this new channel where you see me just, so-and-so showed up today and just talk shit about one motherfucker, Good games today. Yeah, I missed, yeah, so I owe you, baby. I do definitely owe you. Gravity is false. Yeah, I mean, that ain't what it's called. They put these English names to shit, and that ain't what the shit is called. A tree don't call itself a tree. These goddamn plants will tell you what the fuck they call tree. If you go get in touch with the tree will tell you what it's called. So if we look at this as an illusion, what is it? What is it? What is it that makes us move around? What is it? That's what you think is really called, the thing that we don't need. Fish can be in the water and just push the fish in and out and get enough oxygen and just move around. So they want you to think that you need this shit. I'm gonna say, I call Super Slide. I don't fuck with him. I don't like bothering people all the time, And one thing that he said, when he said the chick made the call about the brother that passed, saying his name, and it instantly triggered me when Lynn Bias was dying and Brian Trimble. We got in, I told you about my connection with Brian Trimble. Vivian used to go with Brian Trimble, so I know a lot of this nigga's business. So Brian Trimble, when he called in about Lynn Bias, he said his name. He's like, you got to hurry up. You can't let him die. But his original thing, which caught me with Sly, was he said it's Lynn Bias. That ain't normal. under pressure, that ain't normal. That ain't normal under pressure to call that somebody hurt. Now, you might see somebody say, my mama, my daddy, but not just a friend and say his full name. So that's what it called when they said the whole name of Kevin's whole name, and that rang a bell with me with Brian Trumbull and said, "It's Lynn Bias. You got to save him." That's another thing to show you that is hey, Brother James. They called about 2 fugitives in the city I live in, Evansville, the guy and the lady sheriff. They said the lady sheriff tried to shoot herself. As I said, it's pimping, you know. Prisoners can do some of the best pimping. If you dig Soul on Ice, Eldridge Cleaver made a lawyer fall in love with him. Catherine Cleaver and her. I saw, you know, again, I work around books. I saw a book by her. I saw a picture, but she got one of them African names now. But she was married to him. And remember, this motherfucker ran for some mayor somewhere and moved to America. Shit, if you read Elaine Brown book, she talk about how Eldridge Cleaver was hitting her and beating her when she was pregnant. This chick was a lawyer, and he was a convict. A convict that sold weed. You know, he got caught with about 5 pounds of weed in the back. And a motherfucker, if you believe that. But you know, get into that shit. The Lazarus effect. The Lazarus effect is my father's generation like a motherfucker. You know, they could have European women, and it made them feel a power. But what they don't say is they use European women to attack brothers too, to spy on brothers. My mother and my mother said that firsthand. And you can look back when it was the brothers meeting for the war and the civil rights shit. It was always European women that was on the front line of that shit. They be sitting in the front. They supporting with the bread. Motherfucker got this movement, needs some leaflets done or a paper or some literature. And you got these European women like, yeah, I'll take care of that. So do you see the weakness of these motherfuckers? There's a weakness in them where they could be infiltrated very easily. Anthony Davis, what's happening? Oh, yeah, you know, I got the Pittsburgh Pipers. You know, this is Connie Hawkins shit, baby. This is Connie Hawkins shit. This is some ABA shit. I don't know why they made the ball brown. And you know what? I ain't never seen a dark one sold. They got these in all blue. I ain't never seen one sold. So PJ, if you ever seen one sold? You can't even, I ain't seen one of the dark ones. I've had this. Oh, I've had this for a long time. Hey Anthony, what's happening? Liquid Fire, how you doing? Oh yeah, Shaq, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Oh, y'all want to check out some cool shit? Let me put this shit cool. This is amber. You can see the bugs and shit. So if I can get the light right. See all them bugs up in there. Let me see if I can find amber right quick and give you the possibilities of why you want amber. Because I don't bring up shit without possibilities. Here we go. 107. And you know what amber is? Amber is sap that comes from old ass trees. Amber is a fossilized resin. It's usually golden to brown yellow. Some amber has been found to contain red, blue, or green hues. Yeah, there's blue amber in Costa Rica. Amber allows the body to heal itself by absorbing and transmuting negative energy into positive energy. It emits a sunny and bright, soothing energy, which helps to calm nerves, to enliven the disposition. The different colors may be used to appropriate chakras and bullshit. It is a stone dedicated to connection of the consciousness of self to universal perfection. Helps one in the art of manifestation to bring what is desired to the state of reality. Stimulates the intellect and opens your higher consciousness. It also transmutes the energy of physical vitality towards the activation of unconditional love, provides energy to kindle the realization of subsequent response of choice, helping one to choose and to be chosen. It's like the pimp stone. It has been used as a symbol for renewal of marriage vows, to assume promises. Has been used, said to bring good luck to warriors. And I think everybody in here would be a warrior. It is a sacred stone both to the American Indian and Eastern Indian. It also been used in the fire ceremonies of ancient tribal healers. It was burned, and you can burn amber and it don't leave no mark on the roof. This is how they had electricity years ago and had light that just ain't, buffalo fat or some shit like that. They was able to use amber for electricity. As a figmagant, as incense to clear the environment. It aligns with the ethereal energies to the physical, mental, and emotional bodies, providing for an even flow of perfect order to requirements of the earth plane while balancing the electromagnetics of the physical body. It cleanses the environment which it rests, and it's an excellent mineral for use in purifying, birthing, and rebirthing rooms. It acts to purify one body, mind, and spirit when worn or carried. It's been used in the treatment of disease of the throat. It's also been successful in the treatment of kidneys and bladder. This is a badass stone. And see, the point of the stones is to see if you can connect with them and open up the possibilities. That's all. I don't sell the shit. I can put you in the right direction. And the people that I trade with, I'm gonna look that jersey up. Yeah, if we can find a blue one, I'll get the blue one for sure. Hey, Black Trunks, how you doing? Scottie Pippen with 2 Iversons and one from the 90s. A Scottie Pippen with 2 Iversons and one's from the 90s. Thank you. It's just the silver, silver rope. But thank you. Rocks and jewels are amazing. I wanted to get into as a hobby, but they get expensive as hell. Yeah, I've spent about 10 grand probably. At least, because the gold is considered in that. Yeah, easily 10 grand. But I got good shit. I got good real shit. I mean, my Motivite, like even this piece is, I paid no more than $250 or $300 for this piece, and this piece is in the thousands now. I mean, the value of this piece right here is in the thousands. I only paid no more than $300 for it, and its value is in the thousands. So it's probably my 5 pieces have all quadrupled in value. I mean, even my small pieces is worth $300-400. I mean, my small pieces. So it's one of my best values. Draymond Green, former teammates, Payne. Yeah, me and PJ got deep in that, talking about that earlier. And so many other, murders. Like the original, the first thing that came to mind to me was Adrian Peterson. The way because what PJ showed gave me some information. I hope you don't mind me using this. Was saying it was the boyfriend, the boyfriend of his girls, his baby mama's new boyfriend, shot him point blank, and that made me think of the suffering that Adrian Peterson did. So. But what's funny is, and what's a little different in that situation is you killing the one giving the money up. It's like, fuck you and your money. We got to get rid of you. Again, if the life insurance would be tied into with the child. So y'all know that, don't you? A lot of times, the mother, if he's got life insurance, it's going to be so family members, but so much is going to go to the child too. Oh, you can give me the blue one? Bad. You can give me the blue one. That is my man. That is my man right there. You can give me, I can get the blue one? Okay. Cool. Jody, I'm still thinking about driving out to California. We can do a show out there. Memphis blew that game. I don't know, James. I think I started watching some plays and the manipulation was full. Mitchell only made the white one of the Pipers. Mitchell and Ness only made the white one. That's what I thought. I've never seen the blue one. I've been seeing the white ones for years. Never seen the blue, And again, I've been a Connie Hawkins fan since when I was in 5th grade. 60. Let's think. That had to be 71, 72 season when I read File. And File is an expensive ass book because what they did to Connie Hawkins was so illegal. So illegal. White one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You my man, you know. I give credit to the work. You know, I'm one of the few that I hear about somebody else. I'm the first one to say their work. Most motherfuckers don't be that. I'm thinking about it. I really am thinking about taking that trip. I really am thinking about coming cross country and coming west. Just take a trip and spend, 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I'm really thinking about it. That link I sent you makes the blue. Okay, bet. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you sent it. I was pretty sure. Yeah, I want the blue one too. Shit. Because regardless of being 42, that ain't their fault. They was marked. That ain't their fault. But it's just this was my all-time favorite player. My two first all-time favorite players was Connie Hawkins. Well, probably Wilt first. Was probably Wilt, Connie Hawkins, and Spencer Haywood. My first team I ever played on in 5th grade, I wore 24 for Spencer Haywood. See, I'm marking myself. And I was marked later with the 12, 14. I'm trying to think when I I don't even remember what my number was when I was in freaking 7th grade, because this is what was funny. When I was in 7th grade, I had the white jersey and the 8th grader had the red jersey. And so we would switch during the week depending who was home and who was away. And then when I was in 8th grade, I was still switching with a 9th grader. So I think I wore 32 and 35. And then my 8th grade, I wore 32 and 35. So I wore the Dr. J, and 35 would have been Larry Kenyon, Dr. K. So I wore them two. In the 9th grade, I wore Phil. Played with Rutgers. Phil, because Phil, I had what was Phil's name that played the Rutgers? He was number 12. They made the Final Four. They lost. When Indiana went undefeated, Rutgers made the Final Four, and the championship was Indiana, undefeated Indiana, Michigan State with Ricky Green. Scott May, Bunkner, Phil Hubbard, and Ricky Green played in the finals, and they lost to Indiana. But Phil, oh my goodness, what is Phil's last name? He played at Rutgers. He wore 12. So I wore 12 for Phil, and then I wore 31 for Richard Washington because we wore new jerseys when I was in 9th grade. We didn't have to share. So my white jersey would have been Phil. My red jersey would have been Richard Washington 31. And then, of course, when I went into high school, he didn't give me my cousin's number 31. 30-31 was my cousin Ricky and my cousin Kevin number. He didn't give me them. He gave me 50-51. Which at the time was two bad motherfuckers that played before me, Paul Kirk and Sam Simmons. Sam Simmons played at Bradley and played in the ABA. Paul Kirk was a great player, played junior college, and one of my guys. He was a hall monitor. Paul was a hall monitor. So, they put me in kind of that. So I didn't really mind. I understood. Celtics winning for the Sam Jones. They have 24 in their jersey. That doesn't really mean anything. Maybe. That's all I'm going to say is that maybe. I'm still going with Philly coming out of that. I love old school jerseys, the Super Bowl patch. Oh, yeah. I love that. I've dressed like that. As I said, my first jerseys was Dick Butkus and Lynn Barney. And it had the 50-year patch on both of them. It was 50 years in the NFL, and I bought them at Sears. As a matter of fact, I got the Lions coach because when I bought school clothes, I got Dick Butkus, I got Lynn Barney, so the Barry Sims, which was also on what was his name? Won the Heisman from Oklahoma, played with the Lions. His face is there. Oh fuck, because he was the dude that when he got hurt, he got unemployment. He got unemployment too. They passed the unemployment thing in Michigan that if you was an NFL player, you couldn't get unemployment. What is his name? Sims. His name was Sims. Yeah, Sims. Sims was number 20. So it was Lynn Barney, it was Sims, and then Barry. Yeah, Sims. Billy Sims. That's his name. Billy Sims. They all still pushing Giannis. Yeah, they definitely pushing Giannis. I have John Elway. Ooh, that got to be sweet, CWE. That's got to be sweet. I need a Yankees jersey too, because I got to get a Derek Jeter. That's my guy. I got to get one of them. I was like, oh, really nice. Yeah, Billy Sims, Dr. Sinister, thank you. Yeah. Your Encyclopedia of Sports. I just remember a lot of that shit. The sweetest poster I had, I had posters all in my room. I didn't get the Gale Sayers one because he had the old plastic face mask. This just wasn't a good picture. But they had Lynn Barney raising for a fair catch. And it's just Lim, and he's got the tape. And, when you would tape your wrist, it looked like sweatbands. He's lifting for a fair catch, and he's got the double bars. But I also had, and it was worth a lot of money until that OJ shit. But I had OJ. OJ played a couple games, exhibition games, wearing number 36. And so I ordered this poster. They're trying to make that money. So they sent out posters of OJ in 36. Yeah, I had that for a long time. And, of course, he got 20. OJ did the Jim Brown, So the numbers are significant too, So, but that's how long I've loved this stuff. It's been that long. But I pay attention to everything. Sports is my passion, and the corruption of it I have to report on. That's all they ask. It's like you stay on their ass because, again, the ball field is creation ball field. It's the creation ball field. So what they are corrupting is creation, because the ball field is not supposed to be used for that. As I said before, it can take away all that depression. It can take away certain anxieties, but it's mainly, a lot of it is created to take away, children, women in childbirth, and children that pass when they're young. This is a part of it too. You go sit in the Little League Park and the games is always going. It don't matter what time of year you go. But we are not taught that it's used for this. You can go sit there. A court, as I said before, my high school court got the energy of everybody that played on it. It don't go nowhere. It stays there. So we're not taught that. We're taught that the only time you can go there is when it's cheering and people playing. We're not taught that it can help ailments. We're not taught that. We're taught it's just competition. Me against you, city against city, town against town, state against state, country against country. It's not that. The energy is healing energy. It's creation energy. It's making you feel better about yourself. I mean, look at the basket and the hoop, what it gives you. There's no other sport that gives you an instant reward like a basket going in the hoop. What other sport can you name that gives you that instant reward? You don't need any equipment. You just need to make it in that basket. It don't even matter if it's net there or not. Your reward is getting it in the hole. What else in life can give you that instant reward? Being active. Not needing nothing but you and your imagination. They did a winning time. They did a thing at the end of the game, and they kept flashing back to Magic being in that position, playing for the championship against Dr. J. Do you see what they were tapping into? They were tapping into everybody. Everybody's imagining themselves doing that. I ran in my yard thinking the same thing. I'm about to make a move, win the Super Bowl. You see how they tapped into what all of us do? Somebody chasing you, or the first time. I'll tell you how deep it can get. I remember just playing tag. I think it was just tag. And I was like, tomorrow in gym class, I'm going to run a touchdown down the side and tag. Got the ball. I was like, this is the play. And just zoomed around everybody. This is the gratification. I have a 52 Mickey Mantle. Oh, that's got to be crispy. Ooh, CW, that's got to be crispy. I love that. Tribalism sells. It does. I agree. My first jersey was Jerome Bettis. LA Rams had Keyshawn. Jets. Ooh, 19 is sweet. Nick Van Exel, 9. And I had Steve McNair. Oh, bet. Oh, okay. Nice, man. Nice. I've hung them up, put them in frames. I've had people steal them and shit. I look at sports as motivation, even if it's scripted. Oh, absolutely. You know, let me tell you, I love to watch brothers play. As I say, the most exciting play I ever watched, I watched a dude 5'10" jump over my head, and I'm looking at the bottom of his shoes. I'm looking at the bottom of this dude's shoes as this dude takes the ball, catches the ball in there, and takes it and dunks it in. But when he took off jumping, me and him was running step for step, and he took off, and all I could do is look up because I had to follow the ball, and I'm looking up. As I'm looking up, following the ball, I'm looking at this dude, and I'm looking at this dude in the air. I'm 6 foot, 6 foot and a half. I'm 6'1", 6'2", almost with shoes. And I am looking at this dude shorter than me, and I'm looking at his shoes. And I am looking at his shoes, the bottom of his shoes. He done got up so high. And, you know, I love that. I love that. That is it right there. He didn't do it, but he did it only in, most people didn't recognize he did it. How magnificent what this young brother that never made it in the NBA. For when I talked to him after the game, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just working. I ain't get no place. I played high school ball. We have 8 million stories like that. But at that moment, I looked at him doing something that was superhuman. He did something that was superhuman. For a dude 5'10" to jump higher than I am. What am I, 60 inches? No, it's 70-some inches. I am 70-some inches. 6 foot is 70+ inches. And I am looking at this man, you know. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that part. Yeah, Amp, I love it. You know, I love it. I love ability. And that's why sometimes I don't think people understand. It is not that the players don't have ability. It is not that I don't enjoy the poetry of watching a dude dribble. I mean, it's like dudes just dribble. Like when I show how people shoot, it's magnificent the way they shoot, and they can make it. But too many times you look at their fundamentals, and their fundamentals will not make them successful. I've watched that too. I watched my daughter. We put her hoop up. I talk about that. I go get spikes. Her hoop's nice. I'm going to go get spikes, so that motherfucker ain't going to do nothing. We put sand in there, so in the wintertime, she just got a shovel out, and them spikes is going to keep that motherfucker there. But I looked at her do some moves that she did the same move my son, my soon-to-be 21-year-old son does. She was dribbling the same way that he would dribble. And, you know, I've showed her the corner spin, so she would spin in the corner. She's like, I like going left-handed better. There's some players that are talented as NBA players. Somewhere it's very rare, but they never get the opportunity. There was one dude that was in and out of jail in Chicago. And I only read about this cat, but then I started calling because, as I said, you know, I got a lot of family. It's just a lot of Macons, but I got a lot of family in Chicago. I went to Chicago before I went to Detroit because we lived in Cass, and Cass, the back way to Chicago, it only take you about an hour and 20 minutes. You in Gary. So from Kalamazoo, it's almost 3 hours. But from Cass, you know, Cassopolis is so far south. And then my grandfather had brothers up in Chicago. So we would just shoot to Chicago like an hour and 20 minutes. So I spent more time earlier. I was exposed to Chicago before I was exposed to Detroit. And so I know Chicago. So I'm calling people, and they telling me about this dude where this dude would show up to hoop against Jordan, and Jordan wouldn't hoop against him. This dude was such a phenomenon, but he stayed in jail, stayed in prison. But it was like this. It was in that Sneakers magazine on who was the best dudes that was in every area. And this dude was called the Jordan Killer because Jordan ducked. And remember, Jordan I told you before, Terry Durod was the one. Terry Durod tore up his knee in a semi-pro summer league game. So they made NBA players stop playing unless it was some sanctioned shit. Jordan put the love of the game in where he wanted to play, just like the dudes who wanted to play in the Rucker. The Rucker was sanctioned by the NBA. So Jordan had to put in his contract. So it wasn't very many sanctioned NBA things for these dudes to do. They just like, you want to play, we're going to go get UCLA's gym or something. NBA players just go play in there. That's what they end up doing. But Jordan had, I want to be able to play against everybody. Well, it was one dude in Chicago, and y'all look this up. It was one, I think it was in the Sneakers magazine, whichever that magazine was called. about that talks about the sneakers. But they was like, called that dude the Jordan killer because Jordan stayed away from him. He was one dude Jordan wanted nothing to do with. And Jordan went to Chicago playing against everybody. You know, one of my guys is Charles Davis. And Charles Davis was the first one. Went to camp with Jordan. Is like, yeah. Because Charles Davis went to Tennessee State. My dude I graduated went to Fisk. And so, you know, that's all down there together. And so he hooked me up with Charles, and Charles was in camp, and Charles, I think, was a year or two ahead of Jordan. Charles is closer to my age. He's like, yeah, this dude is up here like the real deal in camp. That's what he was saying when they was in that first camp. He's like, yeah, this guy's gonna be something. Hey, requires a lot of luck or connections. Talent can only carry so far. That's the point. Because if you ain't got the wind or behind your back, you ain't gonna do it. Hey, brother E, what's happening, man? Boston and Milwaukee game was suspicious for a minute. See, I missed that game. I was at work. I am. What's happening? Ref Tim Darley was fixing games as early. I mean, it's always been fixed, so it ain't just him. I mean, one thing to read Darty's book is Darty points a system out as the worse ref you were, and the crooked as you were, the higher you was elevated in reffing. That's one thing you should get. Yeah, CWE, this guy, whatever the sneaker magazine is, Dunk or whatever it's called, you get an issue out of the 90s. It lists all the top players in the country that wasn't playing in NBA, and it was this dude. And I caught that book, and when I caught that book, I wasn't that old. And it was like this dude, and they called him the Jordan Killer. That's what they called him. This dude was called the Jordan Killer because every time he'd go to a gym where Jordan was playing, Jordan would quit playing so he wouldn't face that dude. He wanted nothing to do with him. But yeah, look that guy up. Got to learn to choose your battles. Oh yeah, he didn't want no part of that, brother. I got a shitload of jerseys, collected some of all seasons. Me too. Like I said, I got the long jerseys. You know, I got the long Eagles jerseys. I got two. I got the Eagles in blue. You know, I got the Eagles in state flag color, so it's blue and yellow. It's 33, I think, of course. And then I've got Chuck Benedict, the World War II ace. Look at Chuck Benedict's finger. His shit is like this. His shit is way over here. It's like you see a hand, and his finger is literally way over here. Like Wiley, you know, Wiley's finger like that. But Chuck Benedict was the worst. I mean, my fingers aren't the greatest. But his shit was way over here. It was like it broke out of the socket, and they put it way over here to fix it. So I'm pretty sure this dude is dead now. He was World War II ace. Or excuse me, he was World War II dude, joined World War II. I have a Russell Wilson jersey. Got it when I was 13. It's small now. I just bought that one for $20. If I can get a $150 jersey for $20, I'm with it. I'm with it, baby. I'm with it. So I just like jerseys too. It's funny. You see that video I made of what's his name, Sharp. I think his name was Sharp, that raped all them women, played for the Vikings for a minute. And I remember seeing his jersey at Marshall's, and I'm like, who buying this motherfucker? This rapist and shit. I ain't mind wearing my OJ shit. Somebody stole that from me too. I had a white OJ one. You know, OJ had the white and the blue ones. You probably could still get them both. I remember somebody put out OJ and never put out no jersey. And I'm like, yeah, I got that jersey a long time ago when I got my Buffalo Bills OJ jersey. And, you know, after 95, it wasn't cool to wear them. After 95, it's like, yeah, OJ, we're going to put you in the corner. We can't wear you no more. I even felt that way about my poster. I had that number 36, and it was worth money for a long time. And 95 hit, that poster I had since, I must have had that poster in 69. Damn. Man, I'm going to get a bunch of these. I don't know if people really, you know, into them. I always like, you know, we couldn't get the Cubans. We could get the cigars from Honduras. And what they did is a lot of exiles went and they found that the lands in Honduras was the same lands like in Cuba. So some of the best cigars in the world have always come from Honduras. And this is one from Honduras. I know you got one. PJ. The Wilsons. Ooh, the Bronco hats. Watson's jersey. Yeah, that's a good point. My Denver just came in this week. You got to send me a picture when you get it. Send me a picture of it. That's got to be sweet. And with the Broncos hats. Broncos had, like, when Kelly Trapuka's daddy played, they had some ugly ass jerseys. Like when Marlo Briscoe was quarterback, and he don't get not a lot of love. Marlon Briscoe was the first brother to play a full season in pro sports. I guess you could count the cat. Chicago cutting. They made a deal in Canada, and this brother in 1955 was the first brother to play really in any professional football league in 55, I think it was. But he was cut by Chicago. And, they trade players to Canada. I don't know if people realize that. They trade you to Canada. North Dallas 40 movie talking about, well, I'm going to cut him or ship him to Canada. They've been trading players from Canada. So I don't know if you know that. Because a lot of the, coaches that's in these positions have been going back and forth. But the NFL has always sent players to Canada. That's why I hate NFL Europe. They want a team over there. They wanted a league over there. Because of logistics, like I've tried a lot of businesses, and we were trying to put together truly a world basketball league. And we started looking at, we was going to put teams in Australia. I mean, it was really a nice little world basketball league that I was part of at one time. And the logistics was the thing we could never come up. I'm sitting in the meetings like, how are we going to make this work for the budget that we have? How are we going to fly teams? What is it to Australia? 20 hours, 17 to 20 hours. How are we going to make that game? And then you're saying this team is going to fly to Japan. It was like on our budgets, how can we be successful? And so we really never got it off the ground. But that was the biggest thing. What is that? I'm going to get back to the, okay. You know it, but okay, bet. Yeah, send me a picture of it. Thoughts about the USFL? I think it's an insult. It's an insult. If nothing else, those teams should have been absorbed into the NFL or let stay as the spring league to let other players play. Because they won their case. They should have been given enough money to operate for 50 years. And instead, that's my hating on Donald Trump, which is not hating, it's facts. Donald Trump was told that the Generals, if he took down the USFL, that the Generals was playing in the Meadowlands where the Jets and the Giants was playing, and Donald Trump had a contract in the spring. And Donald Trump convinced them to try to compete in the NFL to play in the fall. 2 successful seasons in the spring, and then Trump, pushed it, getting the plane tickets cheaper, the hotels rent cheaper, So he convinced them, and it destroyed the USFL's operating body. But the USFL won their case. But again, they had people on the jury that said, okay, even though you won your case, it's not enough to sustain you. They insulted them. So as I asked somebody, maybe it was PJ's, like, who owns the USFL? Who had the rights? Because up to this point, when you saw non-NFL commercials, like you saw commercials where they used football, it was NFL. It was USFL footage that they've been showing since the NFL stopped in 83. Think about it. When you saw football commercials that wasn't the NFL, it was always a USFL team. And that's been used since 83. So who owned that? Who owned that? Who owned the rights? So did Donald Trump give up the rights to the Generals? Now it's what it should have been originally. Now, as I showed, we know the games is fixed. They're silly fixed. A lot of it's sloppy football. The quarterbacks is behind. The quarterbacks are way behind. The quarterback play has been horrendous. I've watched several games, and the quarterback play is terrible. One dude that played, I think, for the Bandits that won Friday night or Saturday. This dude ain't started the game 7-8 years. And his team just barely won. So, Adam Silver said he might put an NBA team in Mexico City. Well, it's a pro league in Mexico. It's been pro leagues in Mexico. I was offered to play in Mexico. I was home one summer, and they wanted me to take off. It was May. I was home in May. My boy Nate Johnson. Nate played. Did Moorhead play? I know Greg Brown played, and they wanted me to go with them. And I could have played pro ball in Mexico. That's probably 80. 80. And I had a friend that played in Peru. They wanted me to go to Peru. And my friend was like, well, this is the only thing. If you know, a lot of players getting them 8 balls for $20 and, you know, they're getting strung out down there. I was like, yeah, that's probably not for me. But I wouldn't be surprised. They want an NFL team in Europe. NFL Europe, I loved it. I loved the ball. I knew a couple guys that played over there. I've got one of my extended, you know, network, a guy who played over in Poland for the last probably 10 years. And he brought another dude over there. So that's what they had, but what they're going to get is a team. They want Wembley Stadium hold 100,000 people. You don't think they want 16 games, 18 games, 17 games in the stadium that holds? Do the money for that. Do the money and the luxury boxes that having, well, you only get 10, what was it, 18, so you get 9 home games. But yeah, it'll Mexico, I would say the only problem with putting a team in Mexico is the games being ambushed. If they get the cartels and the CIA allows it to move smoothly, yeah. But that would be, you know, that would be my biggest thing. They're gonna stay in the same continent. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. But you know, they tried to bring remember they tried to, you know, the NFL puts a game down there and the fields be fucked up, you know. Last year they had to, did they postpone the game that was down there? How did they do it? But the fields be fucked up, you know, so they got to figure that out for the NFL. NFL want to put a team down there too. Shitty names? I don't know. It's the same names. I thought the Philadelphia team had ugly ass colors. I thought the New Orleans team had ugly ass colors. So yeah, I'm very leery of the NFL acronym. Yeah, I feel you on that too. Yeah, definitely. USFL, yeah. But people love football. I mean, Canadian football about to start in June. So, you know, people, I've watched Canadian football since I was a little boy. You can look this brother up. The winningest far as, let me get this right. So the winningest quarterback in the NFL, in all of college, Division I, far as his team winning, the most wins is Chuck Early. Chuck Early went to, oh shit, I'm really tripping now. Fuck, I don't remember. Toledo. There we go. Chuck Early of Toledo won something like all 3 years. He only lost, in 3 years, he only lost one game, I think, Chuck Early. And Chuck Early didn't even get a look at it in the NFL. Chuck Early had a great career in Canada. Let me tell you another dude, went to A&T, Ellsworth Turner, the DB Burner. That was his nickname. Ellsworth Turner, DB Burner. Played for the Colts for a minute, but Ellsworth could sling that rock. I played semi-pro one summer, semi-pro with Ellsworth Turner, the DB Burner. When I see, you know, we go to reunions, I'll be like, Ellsworth Turner. And Ellsworth hooped at A&T too. They ain't let me hoop. They would let Ellsworth hoop. Watch the Houston Gamblers and New Orleans Breakers. Yeah. What's his name from Oklahoma? He was the first. Let me go back though. So it was the dude that played in the World Football League in Detroit that came out of high school and played in the World Football League. The second dude was Marcus Dupree. Marcus Dupree went from, when he quit Oklahoma after first year or second year, I don't quite remember, but Marcus Dupree played with the Breakers. He was one of the first players to actually, well, the second player, if you count the guy in the World Football League. I didn't watch them games. World Football League. World Football League, the championship game, they didn't even get paid. And the dude still played without getting paid. World Football League. So it's always, you know, after the AFL, NFL mergers, as I said, Cleveland, 49ers, they had their own league. They wasn't in the NFL. They competed with the NFL from 1950 to about 1955, 1956, something like that. And Cleveland dominated that league. That league was successful. The USL, you know, absorbed it. So it wasn't just like, you know, the AFL was the first time the NFL absorbed a team. Matter of fact, when they first went into business operation, you know, back in when they show with Jim Thorpe and they're in somebody's car dealership, They was a different league the year before, and then they changed it to the NFL. UK could get a team. It's not for that. Well, it's the time thing, and it fucks with the players. And it would be really hard on them having to travel 9 games from England. That's the biggest thing is how would you, first of all, how you going to get free agents? How you going to get free agents that want to move to England? Average brother ain't going to want to move over there. I don't know if you can get some tax incentives. I don't know. Sweden would probably be the place. Lions don't care. Lions don't care if they're bad. It don't matter. The Lions is like the Knicks. They still sell out every game. Ford Field still be full every game. All the luxury boxes full, sold out. So that's all they care about. The New York Knicks is the Cowboys, and it's the Knicks. The Knicks is the second most valuable sports club in the world. And they ain't won a championship since 1973. Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, Bill Bradley, David Busher, them dudes, Phil Jackson. And they don't care. They don't care. They still sell out. So that's what it's about. Still sell out. Lions have never won the Super Bowl. Not in my lifetime. They're going to give me 40 more years. They're going to let me live to be 100. I've already seen it. So they're going to keep me locked in this motherfucker for a minute. It's 1 game per week, though. No, CWE. Okay. Look at it like this, CWE. You play 2 home games, and then you got to fly across the ocean, live technically in another country. Say you got a 2 week, you get for 2 weeks. Now, for the average player, you got connections all around the country, but coming from Europe, and you got to adjust to the time schedule. So 2 weeks, you in America, living in a motherfucking hotel, adjusting your body to, first of, jet lag, second, the time schedule, third, the food. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. That ain't easy. That's hard. And then maybe fly 1 game back, and then got to go fly and play a home game, and then got to fly another and go back. I mean, that's hard. That's physically hard. So I don't know how they're going to, I don't know how they're going to get over that. Don't say the Yankees. Now, the Yankees will probably win. They keep them winning. As I said, that was my favorite baseball team from a little boy, was Mickey Mantle. I'm old. I'm old enough to enjoy Mickey Mantle playing. I followed the Hank Aaron thing. I scrapbooked. I had him at 5. I remember I cut out the paper at 5, 13, that whole season. And what they did with Hank Aaron is they didn't let him break it in 1 season. He broke it in the following season, which was like, yeah, okay, we're going to tease everybody up to this point, but then we're going to let him break it the following season. So that's what they do. That's what they did back then. I tell people what you say about the Lions. Oh, yeah, Lions ain't going to never win. Lions, Cardinals, you can see the teams ain't going to never let win. They ain't going to never win. They won in 50, 54, 55. That's it for them. That's it for them. Yankees are 28, best in the AL. Bet. Thoughts on Barry Bonds? This is the hypocrisy. His bat and jersey for hitting the most home runs in a season is in the Hall of Fame. His bat, ball, and jersey for having the most home runs always is in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose's bat, jersey, pitcher is in the Hall of Fame for having the most hits. So they're in the Hall of Fame. So, it's just hypocrisy. But as me and PJ was talking, if you watch Winning Time, Larry Bird cussed them reporters out, say, fuck you, asking stupid-ass questions. Jabbar did the same thing, but ignored him mostly. He was aloof, what they call aloof. He kind of tried to ignore him. And look at what they did to him. They destroyed his ability to coach. He didn't get any offers. And you see all the brothers. Bob McAdoo put all the years. Bob McAdoo put just as many years in, if not more. Bob McAdoo won 3 or the 2 titles with the Heat. And you see Bob McAdoo got jumped over by Steve Nash and others. because Bob McAdoo got to be in his late 70s by now, so too old to coach, really. But I mean, so Barry Bonds, we see similar players. I mean, why did Larry Bird get this treatment? He didn't like the media, but they never held it against him. I mean, that ain't nothing new about Larry Bird cussing out the media, but everybody knew that. He did not like being in front of everybody. But he got to coach. He got to he's the president of the Pacers. But Jabbar couldn't get any of that. And as I told PJ, the asses Jabbar didn't kiss while he played, he kissing now. He getting both cheeks. He's getting both cheeks and the hole now. Kings didn't hire Mark Jackson. His career as coaching is over. He making that bread, though. You know, he making more bread. What he doing now, and it's less work. So, I don't know. That ain't no hit. I feel the NFL told Marshawn Lynch to play that role with the reporters, and that backfired. I don't think it even backfired. I think it was successful. I mean, Dwayne Thomas was really the first one that said, fuck you. You know, you're not paying me what I'm worth. I'm not talking to these motherfuckers. He had a great season. They had won the Super Bowl. And I want to say that, okay, so Dwayne Thomas played running back. He was the first 33. Well, probably not the first, but the first famous 33 for the Cowboys. He lost the Super Bowl against the Dolphins. He won the Super Bowl. Well, no. Let me back up. Dwayne Thomas beat the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. He lost to the Colts. When the Colts beat the Cowboys in that last-minute field goal, Dwayne Thomas had a heck of a game. Everybody fumbled, though. He fumbled, too. But when the Cowboys beat Miami, before Miami won 2 in a row, Dwayne Thomas was the best back in the league by far. And the next year, they wasn't giving him that bread. They ain't talked to the reporters. So it was, to me, when I saw Lynch not talking to reporters and saying these scripted things, but yet he getting these shows, he getting these commercials. So it was an act. It was all an act. It was all an act. Yeah. Kareem was on the TV show Dave playing himself and falls down with a broken leg. Do y'all remember when, that Len Bias shit was going on and Reggie Theus was on one of them shows? I don't know if it was Saved by the Bell. It was one of them damn shows where Reggie Theus, they wouldn't meet him and Reggie's in the classroom and Reggie is such an addict that he just had to do a line in the classroom. And it was almost like it was fentanyl, like Reggie snorted fentanyl. Reggie's back in the classroom in a desk, the old-fashioned desk where you got the desk hooked up, right? You sit in the desk and you got the writing part, the desk part, the chair and the desk, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And Reggie OD'd in the school. That was around that Len Bias shit. And people forget. You don't think Len Bias was assassinated? You got to know he was, because the same thing. People don't talk about Don Rogers. A week later, the same thing happened to Don Rogers. So you telling me that Reagan to put a hit on these brothers? Snowfall showed Len Bias. They ain't talk about Don Rogers dying at his bachelor party a week later. A week later. Yeah, it was a show on CBS, snorting coke. Yeah, and he dies in the classroom. That shit was silly as hell. I'm like, Reggie Theus, though. Wants parody that's not gonna, when the Yankees win like the Yankees got the most money. Dodgers might win again. Shit, the Dodgers been what, 3 out of 4? They put all the money. They like the Dodgers and the Yankees. That's what they would prefer. But the Yankees is kind of like the team that people love to hate. So that's why they put them in and bring them out. Judge, when they pitch really to Judge, he don't hit. None of them dudes, though. Stratton, he's another one. When they give him real pitches. And what is my show? If he can't hit the curve, they don't throw him the curve. Well, I'm going to tie this one up. I'm going to get an hour in. I got to piss like a motherfucker, though. I really got to piss. So I wasn't going to go too late tonight. This has got to be about 1. So I just want to, be consistent in coming on, doing pretty much a nightly show. So I wanted to come on tonight. It was a trip. I fell asleep like a motherfucker. I was good and buzzed. I was sitting back and I was watching the late hockey game. whichever was the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock game. And next thing I know, I was like, oh shit, I woke up, felt good. I got ready to put on the show and I looked at what time it was. I'm like, motherfucker, it's 2:30. I just knew I took like a 10, 15-minute nap. No. They don't hit anything today. Yeah, pitcher can get anybody out. A pitcher can throw a no-hitter. I'm saying, Satchel Paige was so great. What is it, 27 ounce? Satchel Paige could literally go, because again, don't think that he wasn't playing. The way it used to be, every town had their own semi-pro team. Every town. It wasn't just the major leagues. Every town. That's what Bingo Long and Traveling All-Stars show you. Every town you went to had their pro league. And Satchel Paige was so good, he could go pitch and throw 27, 28 pitches and beat a team, get in his car, go drive somewhere else, and go throw another 27, 28 pitches. He did this for years. This is how great Satchel Paige was. Satchel Paige pitched till he was my age. Till he was my age. It was a softball player. His name was Eddie something. This motherfucker could strike out anybody damn near pitching from second base. I saw this dude play a couple times. He only played with 4 people. 4. This dude named Eddie played with 4 people. That's it. And they beating the shit out of other teams. This dude would pitch half the game from second base and still, fast pitch softball. He would strike dudes out pitching from second base. Second base. He would pitch so many pitches from the regular spot, and then he would go to, he was a gimmick, but he only had 4 players. And would beat the shit out of teams with 4 players. He struck out a bunch of major league, but again, that ain't accurate because it's a different ball, different timing, but still. This dude was good enough to pitch from second base. And Eddie King, they called him King and his court. Eddie King and his court, that's what you would look up. Can't think of this guy's name. At one time, he had the record for the fastest pitch underhand. But I watched this dude. This dude came to Kalamazoo every summer and played with 4 other people and beat the shit out of the local team. It was a big deal. They put it in the paper, put it on TV. That this Ed King and his court came to town. I can't think of Eddie's name, but beat the shit out of people. Because my handler, he did a lot of softball games, fast pitch and baseball. Hey, Valerie. Well, I'll say this is a great book, and I think you got this book. This is a great book to start in his other books. And the beautiful thing about the way the Americas, the science in the Americas is it does individualize. Like when I give my divinations, and I know you can't see it, but I got the Mayan clock way up there. Calendar, excuse me. See, it's still here because I keep that energy, and it shows you. You can go by the Habib, which is the 13 days, or you can go by the 20 days, but it shows individually. I really don't have the other books. Oh, a great book is did I put it back? The Manly Hall book. The Manly Hall book. I ain't got my glasses. Where he talks about I can't see it. It's right there, but I can't read it from here. But the book of Manly Hall and Something of All Things or some shit is a great book. This book kind of helps you to understand how you can use your own sigils. It ain't just these sigils to create energy. So this is not a bad book to understand this system. I'd have to really, give you a better answer. Let me look up a group of some books that I think are beneficial. So give me a minute with that. But yeah, you can hit me up, email me, remind me, and I'll show you some books. As I said many times, this book, You Get Past the Blood, is a great book to show you the possibilities. You get past the blood part. The possibilities of because this all goes into your own power. Your own magic, because we all are magical people. That's the thing of wanting to give all this medicine to you, is to take away your spiritualness. I know people jump on Disney, but Disney is one of the few things that shows how everybody is magical, how nature in itself is magical. So, the books on trees and understanding how trees communicate and trees survive in this day and time. Again, these are mostly young trees. So, but you show me, because I guess the thing is like, if you have a base of what you feel, of your knowing, and then I can grow a little bit off that base to put you in the right direction. So kind of have to know that a little bit. So, but I'll put a few little easy books to read too, because it's just, I'll say this. I mean, understanding directional energy. This is one of the greatest ones of the way they did it. The medicine wheel, because again, it's, they want to circle stuff, but it's a great directional book. Directional energies are very, very strong, very deep. That's why I give the divination and say, these directional energies will give you a push for manifesting. And I don't know how you manifest, but really, if you just sit down and manifest and you say, okay, he said the directional energy is this today, and you can check it out. It's a Mayan calendar app. You can check. And you face that way, and you put your intention and you manifest. That's how you get to push. Now, it may not happen that day, but when you see, what you have to understand is when you manifest it and when you put it out in the world, you're facing that way. And because you're facing that way, when it does come to fruition, you can like look back and say, damn, that gave me a little push. So I know somebody's like, no, that nigga, that's just coincidence. So, yeah, but yeah, let me think about that and try to put some practical things. My brother thought Merlin and the Serpent. He put out a new video. Absorb it. I'll try to share it. I'll think about it. Try to share it. He puts a beautiful picture of my niece. My niece is so beautiful. She looks like my stepfather, which is so interesting. I mean, my brother does too. My brother and I look a lot alike. If you looked at our bodies, like especially our legs are a lot alike. But she really has the face of her grandfather, which is so interesting. Because I felt that my brother and my stepfather, they look more like my grandfather, So she has more of that face than my grandmother's face. And I think about my grandmother all the time. She's the one that, even though she was a Pentecostal, she still practiced voodoo. And she was the one that kind of opened me up to that. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting salt there? She's like, well, this is this. And I'm like, why are you writing on the windows? What's that? And why are you putting that stuff in the windows? She's like, well, this is this. And I'm like, oh. So I was exposed to that as a very young boy. I was probably 4 or 5. And I would ask her, like, why are you pouring salt there? Why are you writing that shit in the windows? And she would explain it to me. So even though she did Pentecostal, she did still around the house. She put her work about the house. They say you are fed them long enough, they start to look like you. Yeah. Once you feed them long enough, they start to look like you. Yeah. I mean, husband and wives. You may see many husbands and wives that get to look at each other. Blacked out. What's that? You see couples that stay together for so long, they get to looking like each other. I mean, that's a natural thing. But it's just interesting how much she looks like her grandfather. I was looking at the pictures like, wow, she really has that look, and this is for everybody. As I've traveled around the country, and I've only been in Mexico and Canada, I don't really want to go anywhere else. I've been to the islands and shit. I don't want to go to that shit in Europe, Africa. I don't want to go to none of that shit. I don't want to see none of that shit. But what I've always noticed is, especially the Jamaicans, I know my tribe. When I see people that are part of my tribe, I know them. I can just look at people that are part of my tribe. And we talked about this on Facebook a long time ago. So you American Indians, look at that. You look at people that like, damn, this motherfucker, you ain't got to say shit to them, but just recognize like, damn, they come from our tribe. And we as melanated Americans, we as the original people that came from the East Coast, we see that all the time, but recognize it, feel that energy. Now, again, you ain't got to be friends with this motherfucker. Just feel that energy and pass the energy between you. He ain't, your tribal member may not even know that you recognize it. And so you keep it pushing, but it's like for that glimpse, you just share energy. You enlift each other without even having to communicate, but yet he's like, shit, my tribe all around me. I always see my tribe. And that spiritually makes us stronger. Well, I'm not reading no Devin. I'm not doing no divinations. I'm just getting off. This is a short thing. This is to make up for last night. I'll be back on Thursday morning. I don't anticipate doing any. Maybe Thursday afternoon I may do Responsible Daddy Hour. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go to Africa either. Yeah, fuck Africa. Ain't nothing. What Richard Pryor say? Ain't no priors in Africa. There you go, right there. That's some shit that a European made up in the 1880s. He made that shit up. Well, let's tell these people that was already there that, you know, I ran into a book. You know, I worked in a book warehouse, and I read a book that said the last slave ship. The last slave ship. Man, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Throwing slaves off. Now, slaves there was a hustle where you can insure cargo. Yeah, that was a hustle. But to say that they just threw motherfuckers off because they didn't take enough, that's bullshit. They had prisoners of war. They had other tribes willing to sell you prisoners of war. And the African slave trade was mostly Central Africans. That's what they want to tell you. Central Africans slaved more of their own. You know, they beat tribes, they slaved them. And when I want to say iron, it ain't iron, but iron for the most part. When that shit started coming to Africa, they couldn't wait to sell them slaves that they captured. But the same with the Moors. Barbers, Moors, they slaved motherfuckers. They slaved Europeans. They slaved Africans. They slaved everybody. Some of the Moors had some of these Americans that came from America. That's the slave trade. Christopher Columbus coming from America, taking motherfuckers into Spain and Italy. And you can find these names. You can still find these names of these people. Like, shit, we can, not Liberia. And you can find that in Liberia too. I was dating a chick. I'm like, you got any Americans? Did you have any relatives that came from America, went to Liberia? She's like, yeah, my great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents, something like that. So they know. Liberians know. But the rest, it's Italy and fucking Spain. You see people they brought from here because Columbus tried to take 20 people back and only, I think, 5 lived. The rest of them died on the transport. So, you know, just the history that they lied about. Yeah, I got to see the Warriors game. I made a video about it. I showed you the shot I thought was the most manipulated. You know, so this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. You know, this has been your host, Big Pontiac. Again, I'll be on either Thursday afternoon, Responsible Daddy Hour. Doubtful, though. Doubtful. Supposed to be 90 something, so maybe if don't get thunderstorms, me and my daughter might walk if it's nice. I'll just walk up there and go get her. So, and I ain't gonna do no goddamn video while I walk. You know, like, hey, you know, this is the greatest guy, and I'm talking. Nah, you know, I'll be ego tripping like that. I don't be ego tripping like that, y'all. You know, like me and PJ was, you know, talking. I wear gold and shit, and I wear this shit every day. You know, I don't put this shit on just to come on this shit. I wear this shit just every day, and I go into place motherfuckers don't like it, just me. I'm gonna wear this shit like, you know, I got the crown goddamn jewels on. Hey, brother James, you catch me as I'm stepping out, but you know, I'll let you for a minute. I know it's a delay too, but it's just me, you know. I'm just like that. I like dressing nice. I like wearing brand new tennis shoes. I like wearing clean boots. I can't wear the gaiters so much anymore because that's like dress shoes. There ain't nothing in dress shoes. You know, you walking on the ground. When you got gaiters on, you walking on the ground. As I told the story before, I can remember having Stacy's, the patent leather Stacy's, and we're on ice and we're trying to push a car out, and the people pushing all got gaiters or Stacey Adams on. So we ain't got any grip to push, you know. Like, nigga, we got Stacy's on. How you think we, motherfucker, you better spin them tires and get your ass up out of here. We trying to push a car out of ice wearing Stacy's. We've got no grip. Dennis got stuck. He's like, well, you guys push. We look at this motherfucker like, we ain't gonna push too much. And I've told the story before. I watched this motherfucker get stuck. And like, I am like, I'm supposed to be home with the car at 2 a.m. And I look at this nigga that didn't park, you know, I parked facing out. So it was after a snowstorm. They didn't plow both sides. And the way the drive was it was a fucking embankment almost. It was like the way the apartment was like stood up by itself. So on the other side, you didn't have very much room to back up or you was going to fall over. At least the rear of your car was going to fall over. And I looked at this nigga, and I'm sitting in the car warming my shit up like 1:45. You know, it took me 5 minutes to drive home. And I'm looking at this motherfucker, and I'm like, this nigga's about to get stuck. Sure enough, he drove into the embankment. Boom. I'm wearing a knee length leather. I've got on dress pants, and I've got I put boots on that night. For some reason, I had boots on. And he hit the goddamn gas. And when I pushed him out of the bank, all that mud, snow just hit up all over that leather coat. I ended up it was Daryl's coat. I never got it clean, but it was just full of mud. I remember I gave it back to him. I never got it clean. It was Daryl's coat. And that coat was just caked with mud. I never wore it again after that. And I just remember all that mud came up. He's like, hit me in my face and everything. And I'm looking at this coat and I'm dripping with mud. And that saved me because on the way home, my parents was up and they was like looking at me. They was like, oh, that's why you're late. And I'm like, yeah, this dumb motherfucker got stuck. You know, I didn't say that, but it's like, oh, that's why you're late. Because I was like home at 2:15, 2:20, 2:30. You know, not 5, 6, 7 like sometimes. But my stepfather used to work nights. And so the rush was to get home before 7. And so some mornings I would get home, he beat me there. And I'm like, fuck, I can't go in the house. I'll walk over to my aunt's. I'd go lay down at my aunt's. I'd sneak in the house because they never locked the door. I'd go in the basement and I'd be sleeping on the couch in the basement. I smell my aunt cooking. I'd get up. And I remember one time I heard the phone ring. And she's like, hello? And I'm sitting there eating, you know. My aunt's like, oh, yeah. She's like, have you seen him? You know, they worried and shit. They look in there and I ain't there. It's like 9, 10 o'clock. You're like, no, he's been here. He spent the night here with us. He's eating breakfast with us right now. No, I'd been there for a couple hours. I was playing Madden. I hit a guy so hard the helmet flew off. Ooh. Well, I'm gonna kill it now because what time is it? Yeah, it's got to be late in the motherfucker. So this has been the Shark Talking About Show, The Sly Return. So till we meet again, say less.